Can I be honest with y'all? I mean, I want to just the truth about wealth. Okay. Oh, I'm glad that you're re-engaging. Who said that? Chantel. Oh, good. It's good to see you, Chantel. So I want to tell y'all the truth about wealth and why this has been created for you. Listen, myself included. If I had known what I know now, I can imagine the generational wealth that could have been made for all of our families, right? What I want you to know is that you would already be millionaires, some of you multimillionaires, if you had gotten access to the information that you're going to gain in WealthyU. Now, for those of you who have been in WealthyU, have joined WealthyU, if you believe that that is true, if you believe that if you had gotten this insight earlier, imagine if you had even gotten it in college, where would you be right now? If you believe you would be a multimillionaire, in the chat, put if you believe that you would have been a multimillionaire already had you had gotten access to this information earlier. That's right. And so what I want you all to know is that it's not your fault that you're struggling. All right? It's not your fault. It's by design. Listen, I had some conversations this week with some of our WealthyU members, our coaching clients, about their existing investments, and it was criminal. I mean, tens, hundreds of thousands of dollars invested for years and no growth. Are y'all with me? Like some of you are in products that are really designed to allow the companies to get a bunch of fees and for you to get no growth, all under the guise of, oh, it's going to be safe. You can't lose. And so, the fact is that we've been playing to not lose, not to win. And the only reason that is because the information that we needed has been hidden from us. I want y'all to get this. Okay? But what I want you to know is that this is what's happened over and over again, and why I love showing those interviews, right, of people in WealthyU who, once they got the information, it was on and popping, right? Agree or disagree with me? That's right. I said on and popping. You were all designed, and you are all predisposed to being what do I want to say, confident investors, because you are knowledgeable consumers. But listen, we got to get out of this game of people applauding us for being, like the top consumers, we have the highest buying power, trillions of dollars, because all we're doing is making other people wealthy. Agree or disagree with me, y'all? Yeah, I told you we're going to have a conversation tonight, because that's how I'm feeling. Oh, it is WealthyU wind down. So let me give a toast. I just want y'all get ready, because I'm gonna have my little sip of wine. And then I'm gonna really break it down. Oh, I'm feeling silly but I'm also feeling inspired because I've been around all of these amazing, some of these companies they are giving away awards for people who have done 8 figures. That's $10 million in revenue in 1 year, right? So why I get inspired by it is because, people have said, oh, well, focusing on the Black market is, like rolling a boulder up a hill. And I'm like, well, how is that difficult? Everybody's okay if we're spending money, right? But when you start talking about teaching people how to invest, all of a sudden, oh, that's rolling a boulder up a hill. Now, here's what I know to be true. Is doing what's hard makes everything possible. Do you guys get this? Do the hard thing. Do the thing that is going to cost you, and that's going to cost you in time, in talent, and investment, because when you invest at the level of the results that you want, guess what? The results get more significant. If this is making sense to you, tell me. That's right. Do the hard thing, right? Do the hard thing. And the ambassadors, I have to applaud them. And not only are they ambassadors when you're in our challenge, but they're also your member success advisor on the other side when you join WealthyU. And I literally, they want so much for you guys to join. Do you know why? Can anybody guess why the ambassadors are so so energized? Do you want, why they're that way? You know why they texting you and emailing you and calling you? Do you know why? If you can guess in the chat, hey, turn some of these cameras on. I got to see some of you beautiful folks. Do you know why they want it for you? That's all I want you to know. You know why? Because they were sitting right where you, that's right, Dennis, because they were once in your shoes. Okay? Thank you, Carla, for opening your camera. Let me see some more. Listen, we family. So don't think your house got to be clean. Turn on the blurred vision. I'm in a hotel room. That's why my vision is blurred tonight, and I'm not in front of the fireplace in the studio. Thank you, Angela. Yeah, I need to see some of y'all folks, know if y'all for real, or if y'all just in here. I don't know. Faking the phone. Yeah, Sophia, you've been out there in the wilderness. I'm glad to see you, sis. See, y'all don't think I be thinking about y'all. I be thinking about y'all. I be praying for y'all. I be getting on my ambassadors. You don't know what they have to deal with this crazy lady, right? See, and some of you, what you have to understand is that I have such a sense of urgency around you securing your future. Because if you don't, we're going to be a permanent underclass, and our kids are going to be worse off than we were. And that's unacceptable. So people want to understand how, well, I mean, my poor team, they be getting texts at 4 o'clock in the morning. I be saying, listen, I don't expect y'all to answer me. I'm crazy. Okay. Like, I'm an early morning person, and sometimes it's late at night. But I have such here's all I want you guys to understand. Imagine you've been on this path for 2 decades, right? And instead of seeing things going up, is so the more I see it declining, the greater the sense of urgency I have, the greater the amount of investment I want to have, the better resources that I want to give to you, the better, team that I want to have, the more I want to develop them. I'm just being honest with you guys, right? So I don't want you to think I'm some crazy lady, because listen, it's not about the money. It's about the mission. Do y'all get that? Like, it's about the mission. We have to save ourselves. Nobody is coming to save us. Right? But here's the really, really cool thing. And you know what's so awesome? And why I'm so optimistic is because every time I get an email or a text, and you're not going to believe this, but I increased my investments. You're not going to believe this. I started my Stash App account. I went from 0 to 5,000 in a couple of months. You're not going to believe this, but I did this. You're not going to believe this. Did y'all see Tamika the other night in the challenge? Yeah, when I started, I had all this debt. I didn't have a full-time job. And, it was crazy. And then she says, oh, yeah. And on my vision board, which is the first thing, and I'm going to introduce all of our new members in just a second, which is the first thing you do is create your wealthy vision board. All of that came to pass. She got a house. She said she wanted it by the water. It wasn't on the beach, but it was by a lake, right? She wanted this great job. Now she's the first African American to host All Things Considered. And when she came in a WealthyU, she was a part-timer. Are y'all with me? Then sis gets the knowledge in WealthyU, and then she becomes host of Finamize, a podcast over in Europe. Why did they hire her? Because she already knew about stocks and investments. Has a baby, get married. Like every time I talk to Tamika, in fact, I'm meeting her for lunch next week. Every time I talk to her, it's like, sis. And she dropped that convertible car on me. Y'all know I was like, Tamika, that's all right, because we gonna talk next week when we have lunch. How you gonna just slide that in there on me? And I just been telling y'all, you better buy some Tesla stock and not go out and buy these cars. But anyhow, so the point that I want to make is for any of you who are doubting whether or not we have the blueprint, you're seeing it in living color, right? Like I'm literally showing you in living color. Every week I am interviewing experts and women in our community and authors sharing and validating that everything that we've done in WealthyU works. All right? But here's what I got to tell y'all. We are running out of time. Are y'all with me? Like, the most valuable commodity that you have is time. And if you're going to turn your situation around and accelerate your financial growth, the longer you wait, the more difficult it becomes to catch up. Do you understand that? And so even within WealthyU, we're meeting you where you are. But here's all I want to say is that what I need you to do is to have faith that you have everything you need to be everything you need to be. Do y'all get that? Like I know you're hearing a lot of doubts. I mean, I have them myself, right? But thank God I have a loving husband around me who, even when I get frustrated, even when things may not turn out the way that I hope they would, even when Lord knows I've invested a lot of his money over the years. Are you with me? And even though it may not return an immediate result, we're in it for the long game. So who's in it for the long game with me? If you're in it for the long game, in the chat, just put yes, I'm in it for the long game. All right? What I want you to know is that it is not hard, but it's not easy, right? That's what you need to understand, is that it's not hard, but it's not easy. But if you are willing to lean in, invest the time, do the work, execute, one of the things I am sure of is that you're going to be so much further ahead. But you know what I found is the most valuable thing of all, and you heard it over and over and over again in a lot of the interviews that we met. And did you hear it when people said, I walk in the rooms differently? I feel more confident. I can talk the talk. Nobody's going to talk to me any kind of way about what I can or cannot have, or what I should or should not have. And so what I want you all to know is that it's more than money. Okay. But before we do anything else, the thing that I must do is I need to welcome all of you who are now in the WealthyU Society or the WealthyU 101 program. I need to welcome all of you into the family. All right? This is the family reunion. And by the way, if you have not joined, you need to just join the family reunion. You need to come on in the family. And even when you leave, you come back. Ain't that right? I see some of y'all left. Some of y'all said, woo, I can't be out here. Because the stuff these people talking about, that recession, layoffs, stock market down, I need to be in WealthyU where we're talking about how we can use this to our advantage. Because I cannot say this more over. I'm going to say this over and over and again. And that is that recessions are when millionaires are made. And what we're going to be preparing you for in the next year are defensive strategies and helping you to understand exactly how that happened. Who's ready to learn that? Who's ready to no longer be afraid of the ups and downs of the economy, of the markets, because there is the seed of an equivalent benefit in every adversity. Napoleon Hill said that in Think and Grow Rich. And, the other asset the most valuable asset that you'll get in WealthyU is mindset. Y'all got this? The fear, the fortune is in overcoming the fear. You guys get this? It's like everything that you want is on the other side of that fear. But what your first inclination to do, and mine too, right? Because physiologically, that is how we're built, is every time we come upon a situation that we are not familiar with, our instinct is to do what? In the chat, let me see if you know that. Our instinct, when we move beyond the unknown, that is of which we have no knowledge of, right? Is to pull back. Is to run for safety. Is to run for what we already know. However, nothing grows in the comfort zone. Do y'all get that? Nothing. Funny story. I'm talking with both of my children, and what I'm most grateful for is that now, when they were in high school, in college, I knew nothing. Their friends knew everything. Like, what they know? They don't know nothing. But, they get to be 15 or 16. Actually 14, you become a coach because you ain't going to make them do nothing, right? But then they go away, they go to college, they get out in that corporate world and they be like, whoa, this is scary. And so now what I'm most grateful for is that they do seek counsel, right? And that they do what I help them to see. And I shared this with my daughter, is that when you haven't mastered something, right? And when you take on a new role, okay, and you make decisions that you're not sure of because you have no proof of performance now, right? When you're in that other role that you've been in for a long time, you've got a track record, right? And when you're accustomed to people coming to you for advice, and now you're put in a situation where you don't know the playing field, you don't know which way to go. And then when you recommend something because you have no track record, what's going to happen? People are going to question it. Agree or disagree with me? If people don't know, if you have no proof of performance, then people are going to question when you make any kind of recommendation. And what I told them, to receive that with grace and insight. But the other thing I told them is, if you've done the work and you made a decision, you have to be willing to defend your position. The worst thing you could do is make a decision and somebody come to you and they challenge what you said and you don't defend your position, right? Agree or disagree with me? I know I'm taking a circuitous route, but there's a lesson in that. And the lesson is that the only way you grow is to lean into the unknown and take a chance. Now, there are only two outcomes, right? It could work flawlessly, and it may not work like you planned. But guess what? Either one of those outcomes are okay. And you know why? It's because each time you do that, it gives you more information, right? Either information that, oh, that was a good assessment, and I might be able to apply that same framework in another situation, or, that didn't quite come out the way that I thought it was. Then we can say, oh, why didn't it? Right? Okay, that makes sense. So that gives you information and you don't run that play again. You guys get me? So the point that I want to make is, it is also true of investing, is that sometimes you're going to make a decision and it's going to work out flawlessly. And then sometimes it may not work out as you plan, but it may not be not no, it may be not now. I want you guys to get this, because in my conversation with both of them, the most important thing all of us have to have is curiosity, right? Like curiosity. And that curiosity will allow us to try things that we've never tried before. Look at Dr. Z ain't playing. She at work, working. She got her everything on, the doctor suit on, but she say, I'm going to tune in to WealthyU Wind Down. That's when you know you got it going on. But anyhow, and so the point I want to make, the point that I'm making in my sort of circuitous route, is that you cannot be afraid to fail. I wish I had learned this earlier. I wish I had taken more risk. Are y'all with me? Like when I wrote the book, A Purse of Your Own, and I launched that campaign, and I did the safe thing. I went back into corporate and I lost 10 years doing that. Now, do I regret it? I don't regret it. I mean, it did a lot of things at the time. I was being strategic, but what I want to say to you, all of you, if you have any doubts, listen, do the hard thing and take more risk. Because the more risk the more calculated risk. All right. So that means you have to be informed. You have to be knowledgeable about how you take those risks. The more calculated risk you take, the further you're going to get. Is this making sense to you guys? If it's making sense, say yes in the chat. And I believe, and I cannot say this enough, is that, and a lot of you are playing to not lose. And because of that, you're not having the level of financial success that you can have. And I know that so much of our inability to take risks, to bet on ourselves, is directly correlated to our lack of knowledge and exposure. Is this making sense to you? Because that fear is steeped in the unknown and never have done it before. And so that's why right now, I really, really want to just acknowledge the folks that went through the challenge, saw all of the, went through the training, saw a lot of our testimonials, heard from the panelists the last day, like Tamika and Zena. Who else was it? Oh, and Charity. Right now, and I have to acknowledge them, because let me tell you, whenever I call anybody in WealthyU and say, hey, we're having this event or we're having this challenge, and I would love, they'd be like, yeah, like, what's the date? I need to get it in my calendar. I need to lock it in. Zena was out in a hotel having dinner with some of our friends and still went and got her little iPad. And she was like, okay, I'm here. And so the point I want to make is I want to say how very, very proud I am of all of you who entered into the WealthyU Society, the WealthyU 101 program. I want to welcome you into the family. And so first off is Kimberly Hogan's McDuffie. If you're here, I just want to say welcome to the family. Diane Shockley, who I know is a good girlfriend of one of our WealthyU ambassadors, Alice Woods, welcome to the family. Let's see, who else just joined? Let me get these all right. Sharon Gregory, welcome to the family. Marley Doucette, welcome to the family. Tanaya Vereen, welcome to the family. Renee Jones Hudson's, welcome to the family. Sabrina Johnson, welcome to the family. Tammy Peoples, welcome to the family. Man, we've got so many new members. I love it. But listen, you still have time. Tia Glenn, I see you're here tonight. Welcome to the family. Betty Burris, welcome to the family. I also want to give a shout out also to, let's see, man, I called a lot of names, but actually Ashley Branch, who came into the WealthyU Society prior to us even starting the challenge. So she just happened to see me. I was talking somewhere else. She was like, that lady talking about wealth, talk about decisive. All she saw was a video, had a conversation with me. And she was like, okay, this is what I need to do. It's on and popping. And Maddie Hayes, I want to acknowledge your renewal back into the WealthyU Society. And, I love nothing more when our members continue to stay in, because what I want you to understand is WealthyU is like, we're named WealthyU. So I want you to think of it like you're getting an MBA in wealth accumulation, right? So you're going to run this plan. You're going to, so I don't want you can't get you didn't get to where you are in a year, right? And you're not going to get to where you want to be in a year. Now, a lot of you are way, way better off than a year. But do you know that the Belinda, you guys remember the interview with Belinda? The top 10% of African American wealth? Guess how long Belinda been hanging with me? For a decade. Since I wrote the book, since I wrote the book, A Purse of Your Own, and launched the A Purse of Your Own campaign. She's one of my church sisters. She stalked me too. I wrote that book. Anything I did, if I gave a seminar, we produced that whole Purse of Your Own campaign in my church. She was right. If you look at that video, you'll see she was right there in the audience. So what I want all of you to know, and I'm dead serious, is we created this for you. We literally have the wealth blueprint that if you work, it'll work. Now, the bottom line, and that's what I tell the team, is we're not selling magic. We're not. We're not selling fast money. Fast money is an oxymoron. But what I can say with pure confidence, here's what I can say with pure confidence, is that nothing like we created exists. And so that's one of the things that I really wanted to go over tonight as well, is I want to go over exactly what you got yourself into. No, I'm just kidding. I want to just share with you exactly what our programs entail. So you're going to get exclusive coaching with me. Every month, I do strategic advisory, where I am going to be looking at your actual portfolios and giving you analysis and insight on how you can accelerate your financial growth and get further faster, because many of you are falling behind because you've been put in these products and investments that of no fault of your own. Sometimes you just filled out a questionnaire and said, well, I don't have a lot of knowledge. I don't want to take a lot of risks. So what they do is they give you exactly that. And what happens is your money doesn't grow. So you're going to get access to our WealthyU curriculum. That's the curriculum that I built for a university based on the book, A Purse of Your Own. It's 10 modules. You're also going to get the private WealthyU Society group. And if you did not join that group, make sure you join the Facebook group, because that has all the resources in it. As well as if you have any questions, if you maybe there was something that you didn't understand, you can post. And oftentimes our members are going to answer your question, our WealthyU ambassadors there. I always review anything that comes into our Facebook, any responses, just for accuracy. You're all going to get a member success advisor. That member success advisor was your ambassador during the challenge. Every week, you're going to have weekly skill building sessions. You're going to learn how to analyze and research mutual funds. Well, first thing you're going to learn is how to get to that 7 figures based on where you are right now. That's our financial calculator training. You're going to learn how to optimize what you already have. So you're going to learn how to analyze and research your mutual funds, the things that you have in your 401k and your investments. Then you're going to go to the next step and you're going to learn how to analyze and research stocks. You're going to get access to our recorded WealthyU events, and you also get access, entry into our WealthyU online events. Now, when our WealthyU live events, which we're about to launch again, you will get preferential seating as well. And you get 12-month access to all of our recordings, as well as an upgrade credit to our higher programs if you desire. Now, for those of you who join the WealthyU 101 program, so remember, just WealthyU 101, you're running for your first 6 figures, or you're running for 7 figures, and then it's 7 figures beyond in our Legacy Wealth Accelerator. But in the WealthyU 101 program, you get the WealthyU Academy curriculum. Now, that's a different curriculum. It's actually based on my book, Nickel and Dime Your Way to Wealth. I also created that curriculum for an HBCU. It's 9 modules. You meet monthly in a group. You have Q&A. You also learn how to analyze and research mutual funds. And you have a lot of recordings in that Facebook group and portal. So the key, this program is 6 months. The other program is 12 months. You also get a course credit, because the point of WealthyU 101 is to have you matriculate, right? So you're going to get the foundations down, and then you're going to move up into our WealthyU Society. And then even with WealthyU Society, you go up another level when you're running for, when y'all really start rolling, you get to that multiple hundreds of thousands. It's not about making the money as much as it is keeping it and it being tax efficient. Now, along with that, and now I'm going to go to where I'm at right now. So right now I'm at my mastermind with about 300 businesses, and I see Dr. Don DeLavalette is on too. She is a former one of our TSP members. I think that may even be where we met. And the reason that I want to make sure that I bring insight back to you, and so you guys will see quarterly we have online events. We bring experts in. In fact, Dr. Don has spoken to our WealthyU Wind Down group. She has a fabulous platform called She Makes More. And she really talks about women who are earning more than their husbands, some of the challenges that presents itself. And so she's done some great work. So my whole point is to bring you top level information that is relevant and that aligns with the mission of WealthyU. And that's all about accelerating your financial growth to 7 figures and beyond. Because here's the truth. Some of you are under earning, and that's a fact, right? Like, you're settling. Nothing happens in the comfort zone. So we bring in experts like LinkedIn to help you optimize your LinkedIn profile. We've had Jandy Turner, who is has Acuity events, does golf events all over the world, and she came in and talked about you leveling up on the links. We've had who else did I have come on and talk about Stella Agdawu. She helps women get into the C-suite and make multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what I want you to know is that wealth is a full, it's more than money. But you want to know the most valuable thing you guys are going to get in WealthyU? In the chat. Now, I don't need, oh yeah, Kimberly Nixon, real estate, now has her own venture capital fund. So I bring my network to you so that you can get exposure beyond and above the content that is actually sitting in WealthyU. One of the things, so in Legacy Wealth Accelerator, I do office hours with them. They were on last night. It was supposed to be Q&A, but sometimes, why is it that I'm always doing all the work. I'm just playing with y'all, but y'all know what I'm talking about. And so one of the things that I've been talking, what I'm talking to them about, and what you'll hear me talking a lot more about in strategic advisory, because strategic advisory, not only are you going to get insight on your own portfolio, but typically I'm teaching at the top of those sessions, which are monthly, right? So, but here's the thing, I was talking with a lady today and she was talking about, man, 12 months. I'm like, yeah, but listen, y'all got 2 hours a week to invest in you becoming a millionaire, to get to 7 figures on. Y'all got 2 hours. Y'all gonna give up Bravo TV, Real Housewives of Atlanta for me, can you do that? It's the same amount of time. You don't even have to give it up. But what I want you to know, right, is that I'm not going to tell you, oh, it'll be, you can just pop in whatever. No, you got to invest the time to the level of the results that you want. But here's what I know for sure. Is the women who get further the fastest, they lean in, right? Look at Dr. Z. Dr. Z is actually probably in the hospital about to do surgery on somebody or deliver a baby or something like that. There she is, right? You're over there. She on the, what is she? She's in my highest level program. And she'd be like, Miss Deb, ain't we supposed to be having a meeting? They'd be stalking me down. I could be on the other side of the world. They wouldn't care. They would just say, too bad. We supposed to be on Zoom today. Right. Stephanie was calling me, don't you know you have? I was like, oh, crap. They laughing. I see you laughing at me, Mariette, because you know that's true. But here's all I want you to know is that, what I'm most grateful for is for you all hanging with us for like 7 days, because I did the bonus training on Monday, right? And so tonight, and by the way, in the chat, I'm not going to stop. Some of you need to be in WealthyU. I don't care what program you go into. WealthyU 101, WealthyU Society, Uplove, I don't care which one, but you need to be in here. And you know why? Because the conversation is different. Agree or disagree with me? You need to be with people, like-minded people who have a desire to accelerate their financial growth, who wants to have conversations about how they can do more, do better. Listen, here's what I want you to know. It's not about more. Most of you already have what you need. It's about being strategic with what you have. And that's what Tamika said. Tamika said, you know what? When I started WealthyU, I didn't have a lot, but I just said, I'm going to follow the system. And so once I put the system in place, then things just, she attracted it. And why do you think people attract a different level of financial success once they get to WealthyU? You want to know the secret? If you want to know the secret, put yes, I want to know the secret. You know why they attract it? Because it's mindset. I want you to get that. It's energy, right? Your ability to attract success, attract any level of success, has all to do with the energy that you are putting out to the world. And if you're putting a lack energy, if you're always worried, if you're around people that are always worried, what do you think you're doing? You repelling it. If this is making sense to you, it is. It's all energy. And the people around you are bringing a level of energy. You see, people think I'm crazy, though. I'm going to tell you, my kids will tell you, like, if you don't bring the right energy around me, I'm not having it. I dealt with that as a child, where there was always, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, right? Like, there was always, you were always waiting for one shoe to drop. There was always, either you had to be a certain way around a certain relative or uncle or aunt or some of that. And you know what? I said to myself when I was young, I'm not having none of that. I'm going to have me some peace. Now, I showed you guys in my little book that I used to, my little scrapbook, about how I wanted my life to be and what kind of house I was going to live in and what my life was going to be like. When anything comes at me that does not align to that of which I desire, I repel it. Y'all ain't got to worry about me, right? And some of y'all need to have some boundaries and get some of that negative energy out of your life too. If you can relate to what I'm saying in the chat, tell me you can relate. That's right. You attract what you become. Who said that? Woo! Okay. So here's what I want you to know. Team, I'm never giving up on y'all. I just want y'all to know I'm not going to give up on y'all, because somebody didn't give up on me. Do you get that? In the chat, put the bit.ly link and put the link to join. Here's what I want you to know. Is nobody does anything of significance on their own. What you all need to know is I have a team around me and they're dedicated. These ambassadors, staff, Stephanie Lee, Tawana, who's been hanging with me since I launched the Purse of Your Own. They are so committed to yourself, to all of you. They listen to my crazy rants and raves. But you know who your biggest advocate is? Mr. Terry Owens. Right. We celebrated 35 years of marriage and dated 4 before that. And when I think about all the hairbrained schemes I have had, to have a partner who, irregardless, I'm just going to use that word since now even the dictionary that made it a word of my here. Now, really, I'm supposed to be at a social hour right now. But guess who's there in my stead? Mr. Owens. Right? So what I want you to know is that this is going to be our best year ever. I say it every year, and we continue to grow, and we will grow this year. But I want you to grow with us. And if you will allow yourself, if you will give yourself permission to enter into this family, right? Know that we do not take it lightly. But what we also know, here's what we also know. You guys need to put the bit.ly link in for the society or hang on. Let me do it. Doesn't matter. You can do WealthyU 101 or WealthyU Society. Here's what I want you guys to know is that It's not going to be hard, but it's not going to be easy. But what I can assure you of is that you're going to be much further ahead if you start now, right? Like, all you got to do is start. And what I know is when you start, this is the funny thing. This is what happens. Like, you guys are looking from the outside and you're looking at these other people and you're like, yeah, that sounds all right. That's cool, right? But then when you get inside and then you're around all the other people and then you're in these training sessions and then, you're dealing with crazy me. And I want to ask you guys something. How have you felt like during this challenge? And the challenge, did you feel the energy? Were you inspired this week? How did you come away feeling this week? What was the energy that you got from this week? In the chat, if you could just use one word to describe it, tell me what that is. Like, I came to the challenge this day and I came away thinking, whoo, what is that word? I'm not going to put it in your mouth. Just one word. How would you describe it? Okay, some said they don't think the second bit.ly is correct. Hang on. Okay, Don said inspired. That's good. What else? Let's see. What else you guys got? Freed. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, what else? Anything else? What one word? I couldn't get enough. Alice says mind-blowing. And the interesting thing is Alice is our one of our newest ambassadors. Mariette says re-energize. Now, it is interesting because even this is what's cool about WealthyU is that even when you're in the family, because we do the challenges like every 6 weeks or so, what happens is that when you get into that cadence, right? That and typically each challenge, I'm changing it up, right? Because I'm getting more information and I'm learning from you guys just about the things that you need to know. And so what I want to say to you, imagine you felt that way 12 months out of the year, right? Imagine you felt that way 12 months out of the year, what you could get accomplished financially. Because the key is to refocus. Because what happens is we get distracted. And I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Some of the people in your circle, they kind of bad influences. They be telling you stuff like, girl, or you don't need to do that. Why you want to do that? You need to treat yourself. So like, you don't have to put the maximum in your 401k. That's a lot of money, right? Why you always talking about stock? Why girl, you gotta live for the day. Listen, I had those friends too. They hate to see me coming. They be like, oh Lord, But here's the other thing. What I am not frugal, Fanny. That's all I want y'all to know, right? Like, I think there's balance in all things. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I think there's balance in all things. I reward myself for accomplishing things. Like, I have a goal for the number of people who come into our challenge. And if I achieve that goal, I will reward myself. and I will reward this team. And I will incentivize them, right? Now, guess what happens if we don't achieve our goals? We don't get to do what we don't get that incentive. But you know what that does? I don't get mad. That's like, okay, team, let's regroup. What we got to do, right? So that, you know what? I'm going to end this. I know I went a little long, but I'm going to end this with, because this is something that I learned very early in my career. Now, my mother, I was raised by an enabler, right? And I could talk my mother out of anything. I could talk her anything and talk her out of anything. I could say, oh, Ma, I want to take piano lessons. I want to take piano lessons. My mother would, my mother didn't drive. So here I am, this little 10-year-old girl. I would have to get on the bus. I would have to go all the way downtown, take my lessons. Then next thing I know, my mother went into debt, bought me a piano. And then a year later, I decided that I wanted to do ballet instead of piano. What did my mother do? Okay, baby, that's good. Take up ballet, whatever. How do you think that ended? Year later, oh, mommy, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to go to modeling school. Okay. What at Barbizon Modeling School? What did she do? Okay, so I got to be about 15, and I thought to myself, this isn't working out too well, because I'm not finished a doggone thing. So I said to myself, you know what? When I have kids, they're not going to be able to quit anything. If they decide they want something, I'm going to be just like my mama. I'm going to make sure that I do it for them. But you know what? I'm going to tell them they can't quit. Okay, so my first year in management training at Fidelity, they sent us away to Boston. And I mean, this was like, we went away for a few months. We stayed in Back Bay in this beautiful penthouse. And one of my kind of like suite mates, right? Because we were in this lovely, I think Ned Johnson owned all of this real estate. So I was with Joni Michelson, and Joni Michelson's father was way up there in the military. I want to say he may have even been a colonel or a general. And so during management training, we had to do all of these tests, and then we would have to do dinner and go out with the muckety mucks, and they would be observing us. How would we conduct ourselves? This was all a part of management training and conditioning, really. So, we're studying for this test, and Joni would say, well, Dad, wait a minute. We need to stop at the store. What is that? Duane Reade? I think those are what's in Boston and New York. So we would stop, and she would get like these, either like Hershey's chocolate or some kind of candy bar, something sweet. And she said, okay, Dad, we're going to study for 2 hours, and then we're going to take this test, and if we get 80, we get this candy bar. I was like, girl, if I want that candy bar, I'm going to eat that candy bar. I am not thinking about what you're talking about. So we study for this exam. We do our practice test. First time we get 70. And I'm like, nope, we didn't do it. And she said, now I'm going to tell you where I learned this from. And that is why I've been the top at everything that I've ever done. And she was a Southern girl. She might have even been from Atlanta, because she had that little drawl and everything. So anyway, and she had her pearls, girl, and her diamonds. Like, okay, Joni, you not playing. So I said, okay, Joni, I'm gonna play this game with you. So sure enough, we study for another hour. We do the practice test. We get an 80. Cuts up the little candy bar. Okay, here's your piece. Here's my piece. So remember, I'm living with this woman for like 3 months. And everything that we had to accomplish, there was some kind of reward attached to it. Don't you know when we got out of that joint, we were the top in our class, and guess where they put me? San Francisco, baby. I got one of the top spots. What was the lesson that I learned from that? In the chat, if you know what the lesson was, what's the lesson? What's the lesson? I want to see if you guys get this. Put in the work. What else? Don't settle for less. What else? Dedication. What else? No accomplishment, no reward. Do y'all get that? Do what is hard. It makes everything else possible. Do y'all get that? Now, did I know that all of those little steps were going to lead me to acing my managerial exam, and the way that we conducted ourselves, because we were the highest at every level, opened that door? What I would suggest to you is that many of you need to place a higher standard on the level of your performance. Are y'all with me? Do the hard thing. It makes everything else possible. All right, with that, welcome to the family. I want to make sure you got till midnight. All right, you got till midnight. Don't wait, because I'm going to be watching. And I can't wait to welcome you in. I want to say how grateful I am to my team, to all of my ambassadors. If you have any questions or you want to talk to any of us, if you're unsure, we have any kind of plan to meet anybody's need, chat with us. I'm so excited for all of our new members into the family. I can't wait, because here's what I know to be true. It's just like these ambassadors were sitting right where you were, that you're going to be that ambassador, that you're going to be one of those gold models that I am interviewing, that are going to be telling their stories about, yeah, I was on this challenge and she came on every week, and then she came on and she just talked about a bunch of stuff, and some of it made sense, some of it didn't, but I said, you know what the heck, I'm going to let the spirit move me, and I bet on myself, and that was the day everything changed. And I'm going to tell you, I can say it with confidence. If you will do what is hard, everything, Tamika said it, everything became clearer to her, because you don't know what you don't know. But all I got to tell you is we got the blueprint. And if you want the accountability and support to execute on it, there is no time like today to get started. All right, y'all. I appreciate all of y'all. Let me get to getting and figure out what else I need to do. I'll be right back here next Wednesday for WealthyU Wind Down. By the way, watch our most recent episode of Get Wealthy. My good girlfriend, Spicita Jackson. She's right down in here in Atlanta. She tells you how to turn your wages into wealth. Some of you are paying too much money in taxes. You don't know what you don't know. And when you learn what you need to know, it makes everything else possible. So again, thanks so much for joining. us here for this week. I can't wait for our first training. Orientation is next week. So let's get started. Good. I want to say a good night to everybody, and I'll see you right back here next week.